Aloha. So you have just clicked on mybodygraph.com and you've never been here before. And so you would go to sign up and it'll ask you to put in your name, your country, all your birth information. I definitely would recommend that you have a more specific time of birth because the chart can change. Like the time is important because the chart can change dramatically from, middle of the night in the morning to the midday into later in the evening. I mean, in a 24-hour period, there can be a big time, but if you kind of get it within like the general, within like 3 or 4 hours, there can be less of a change. But once again, I definitely recommend that. So this is where you would go. So I already have an account, so I'm just going to log in. And what comes up first is my chart. So over here, you will see that you have the talking body graph. So definitely click on all these little tabs to read the information. There's some audios. There's Ra, the founder. This is all very interactive, free information for you. Definitely listen to all this stuff because it's helpful to find. I find it personally helpful to have the original teachings and then listening to what other people have said and then drawing your own conclusions, because once you hear different ways of saying certain concepts will give you a more well-rounded idea of the principles, and so then you can kind of choose the language that resonates best for you. But just definitely click on all the buttons. Whenever you're using mybodygraph.com, click on all the buttons and just see what you have there, because you're never going to get lost. There's a lot of information in here. I just think it's great. If you want to create a new chart and you have family or friends that you want to do, so you would click new, and then this is where you get your chart information. Now you can click on library over here and you can see how all my people, I have a lot of famous people just because I just like seeing what their design looks like, because it's just how it just naturally happens, right? Oh, Elon. Yeah, that's great. So, and then on my body graph over here, you have a bunch of, you can download it, you can share it, you can write your own notes, etc. So you can click on all these gates. Now, we will go over this in depth in modules 4 and 5 in the Human Design Crash Course. Yes, you will. There's just so much information. So once you go through the entire crash course within this whole program, this will all start to make sense. But this is a really good resource to see what was originally said and communicated. And then within the crash course, I go into a more holistic approach and give you more information that I've pulled from various sources. This was the talking body graph. Now, if you want to go a little bit further, you click on My Body Graphs, and this is where you will see your library of charts. And there's even way more functionality over here to find more information. So you can click on all these boxes over here, these chart properties. So this is where you figure out your type, if you're a projector or generator, and a strategy, and then your not self theme and your signature and definition. So definition essentially is where whatever is defined. So we call the white centers undefined centers, and whatever's defined is colored in. And channels, 2 gates connecting within your chart, 2 gates that are lit up, that connect and match each other equally on either side. That creates a whole entire channel, and that is essentially what lights up your chart, or that's what makes you have definition. So I am a single definition, but if I'll use my partner, for example, he has a wide split definition. Now, only over here it would say split, but only because his head, ajna, and throat are defined, and then his sacral center and root center are defined. So it would only say split, but it's split because he would, in order to connect his chart, he's looking for interactions in relationships with others to help him connect the dots with inside of himself. What I've found for split definition people, and also triple split and quadruple split, that in order for you to process what's going on with inside of yourself, it's helpful for you to reach out to family or friends or to counselors or to coaches to help you connect the dots, or just even being around other people in a general public setting can help you process your internal world and what's going on inside of yourself. That's especially important for triple splits and quadruple split people. So that's just a little information on that. And so what I would recommend playing around in here is just scrolling over all the different parts, because when you scroll over everything lightens up. And even the tiniest things, like for example, if you click on the channel or the gate, this little snippet lights up. So if I click on the whole channel, so the channel of structuring, and then it breaks down the gate. Let's see here. So let's do 2343. Okay, for him. So this is the individuality, this from genius to freak, or either or vice versa. So you'll see the sun in the first line and the Pluto in the second line. Okay, because this happens a couple times. So 43 happens a couple times. So over here, you will see the exact gate and the gate number, what it means. And then that's how you get the breakthrough. So this is the individual gates, but if you want to click on a channel, then you'll get, they'll get the channel information. So then if you have 42, the gate information, this is the I Ching hexagrams. And then you have the different channels. So definitely it's really fun just to play around in here. Now, so to keep going through, you just keep scrolling down. Now the not self keynotes, or what I like to consider in module 5 of the crash course, unhealthy expressions of each of the different centers. This is what's interesting. So within human design, traditional Ra Uru Hu teachings, he would say that white open centers are high levels of conditioning. And yes, you are more likely to be influenced by others within these different centers. However, I have also seen centers that are defined also have unhealthy expressions or be out of alignment, or can be influenced by others. So it's pretty much relative. This is why I always like to say you are your own authority in deciphering what is your truth and your experience. Yes, it is good to gather information from other people and to gather insights, but ultimately you need to figure out what works best for you, and you are the creator, the writer of your story. Not self questions. These are fantastic. These are great. There's a little bit more that we do go over in the module 5, but I think that these questions are really, these are just really good standard questions for you. Planetary activations. So if we click on those, so this is essentially where the planets come from. I go through this in module 4, but if you want to see exactly how you get this planetary activations, let me just show you where this comes from. So if you go up here to view, you click on Rave Mandala, and that is where you will see this is the mandala, right? So you have the zodiac wheel, you have all the planets that activate your chart, and then the I Ching hexagrams that go along this. Now, we covered this in module 4 of the crash course, and I definitely talk a lot more about that, but this is just kind of the general overview of this. So if you scroll down, let's go back to standard view. Oh, sorry. Oh, yeah. So you just click on the things and you'll get little info. I think these are all raw. Oh, no, you can't. Yeah. Anyways, they'll ask you to buy things, but this is why, if you're looking to have a more cost-effective option, that's where I come into play, because I was like, this is crazy. Okay, anyways, this is me being in my 17 gate, my personal opinions. Anyways, okay. So, so we have, spleen center. So you'll see what's the spleen? If you scroll over it, then you'll see over here, it lights up, right? I mean, yeah, so I scroll over it, that lights up. So you can start to see the spleen, everything's defined. So you start to see the connection. If I scroll over it, certain things light up, right? And if this is overwhelming, just know that it is a process. And the crash course is designed to basically give you a full overview of information. And then as you break down and you start doing this yourself, I have documents for you and I have worksheets and pages so that you can start to decipher your own self through if you wanted to write it on a piece of paper or insert it into your iPad and use it if you like doing things digitally or print it out, whatever works for you, right? Because it's fun, because then you get to like see and dissect yourself and then start connecting the dots together. Okay, so for example, I have the channel of judgment. I like to consider it a channel of discernment, but like I have a bunch of the little information in my ebook. So that is already available for you. Okay, so let's see here. Let's go back. So if I close that out, like look, just scrolling up and down, it just lights up the chart, right? So more gates. Like gates light up, statistics. I have 14 activated gates, 7 in collective, individual gates. We cover a brief overview of this in module 4 of the crash course. How many first lines do I have? How many second, third? Well, this is all covered. This is all covered in module 4 of the crash course, and it's just a real basic overview. And you'll start to connect the dots as you work through this. So let's go back up to, let's say, for example, you wanted to just see like what your incarnation cross looks like. And there you go. That's your incarnation cross. You click on view, you go to incarnation cross, and just these 2 top numbers. Once again, these are covered in the crash course module 4 about the reasoning why and where you can find this at. So let's see here. You can open this chart in the full screen. Then you can see my personality over here. And then you can also see my body design over here on the left, and it kind of breaks down. And then this is like what my chart looks like. And with the Rave Mandala, once again, I'm going to go back to view. I'm going to go back to complete so you can see my complete chart, and then the Rave Mandala. I also have this. So if you want to see how this breaks down, you can add your own planets in here. I have a worksheet for that, just so that you can start to see what is available. Yeah, definitely let me know if you have any questions. I'm pretty sure I covered everything, but as always, if you have any extra questions in here, please put it in the comments and I love to address your questions. My biggest tip for playing around with mybodygraph.com is just scrolling over all the buttons. Just scroll over everything, read it, take notes. That's what your course workbook is for. You can just write notes in there and just help yourself to connect the dots. And then that is what is applied to, if you even want to, family, friends, just a general information of coaching, just helping your clients. Once this all starts to gel, then it all starts to make sense. Thank you so much, and I will see you in the next video. Aloha.